Greetings, and welcome to the Saved by Nostalgia podcast.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
I feel the need for speed.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Murdoch. I'm coming to get you.
Get busy living. You get busy dying.
You are next.
And the thing is, after all these years, I still look back with wonder.
Well, Bill, I just got done reading your book, William Daniels, There I Go Again, How I Came to Be Mr. Feeney, John Adams, Dr. Craig Kidd, and many others. It's now available on Amazon.com, Turner Classic Movie Shop, and Barnes & Noble's. Great book, personal stories to the great actors you've had the privilege of working with. Just the people you've been able to meet I found fascinating. Can you tell us more about the book and what made you want to sit down and write this?
Well, it was just a matter of testing my memory. Starting from where I started in the business and taking me up to the present day today. It was just a test of my memory, really, but it turned out to be a fairly decent memoir.
You mentioned in your book about wanting to do a Western, maybe being the town drunk. Is that in the works?
Yeah, the only way I'd be able to do a Western is probably the drunk that's out front of the saloons, sitting in the dirt. I don't ride horses, so I don't think that's a pipe dream. That's what they call that, a pipe dream.
Well, you played Dr. Craig in St. Elsewhere, John Adams in 1776, and those are kind of two characters you say are a lot like you. Can you go more into detail about what ways Dr. Craig and John Adams are like the great William Daniels?
Oh, gosh. They're obstinate, they're sometimes cranky, and then sometimes they can be personable. But, an actor is wise if he can put a lot of himself into a role. So he doesn't have to make up things or characterize or anything like that. So there was a lot of me in those two roles.
Well, in The Graduate, you played Dustin Hoffman's father in what was a groundbreaking film, a coming-of-age film, likes of which had never been seen before. But you were only a few years older than Dustin Hoffman when you made this. What was it like working with Dustin? That film obviously became so groundbreaking in that genre. There had never been anything like that before. What was kind of your experience?
Yes, well, it was obvious to me that he was very talented and would go very far. I have a little story about him. We were walking along the street, and he said to me, there's about 9 years difference between us, even though I was playing his father. So he said to me, you're making more than I am, because, he was a beginner at that point, and Mike Nichols hired him over people that 20th century were pushing bigger names, but he wanted Dustin, and of course this made him a major star. So he said, you're making more than I am, because this was his first job and big role. And so I said, I tell you what, Dustin, I'll trade my job, and I'll take your job, and you can have my salary, and I'll take your salary. He said, oh, ho, ho.
Well, I want to go back and kind of ask you about how big of a turning point was it in your career when the great Lee Strasberg said to you, I wouldn't know what to do with you. I don't know who you are. Then you seemed to finally kind of figure it out when you and Bonnie did a portion of From Here to Eternity. So kind of go into that.
Well, I think his point was that I had to throw away all this. He didn't want me to, have that slick attitude about the business and all that. I was a bit of a phony, actually. And so he said, I don't know who you are, meaning I've created this other character other than myself, and, it wasn't a very good idea for an actor. And so he said, I don't know who you are, and I wouldn't know how to use you. So that was quite a criticism that really stayed with me and led to me just dropping all that phony stuff that I was doing and trying to find myself to present on the stage in parts. In other words, when you get a part, there may be some things that are not like you, but what you really have to find is how a part resembles you and that you can use to that part, and it will be very authentic.
Well, you talk about some of that phony stuff. Did that stem any part of that from your childhood when you look back on that to kind of where your mother pushed you into performing? And how has that affected you throughout your life? It kind of reminds me of the Michael Jackson, Joe Jackson situation.
Well, first of all, we were performing when we were very young, and you know, anytime an actor can get on a stage or anytime they can get up in a living room and perform, it's good for them to do it. So we got a very early start, my sister Jackie and I. She, of course, went on to play Ada Winnie in London, in Oklahoma, and so that early experience always will stand by you, but then you've got to really find yourself as you grow older that you can present that has an authenticity to it.
Well, I tell you, aside from you, William, one of our favorite actors is Michael Landon, and I know your wife, who's on the line here, was had a reoccurring role on Little House on the Prairie. Did you personally ever get to meet Michael? Or I'm sure that your wife has some great stories about what a good person and good actor Michael Landon is.
I don't think Bill ever met Michael.
No, I didn't. You know, I wouldn't intrude on her work or on her performances. They were all out in the country, you know. I stayed out of that. But of course she was very happy doing it, and I thought she was very good in it.
Well, Bill, something I found interesting in the book is you say you've always been a nervous performer. Your stomach muscles would kind of get knotted up before going on stage or on set.
Well, that happens, I think, when you're performing on the stage, particularly. You know, in film, you get a chance to do it over, and if you're in good terms with the director, you can say, could I try that again, you know, and you could. But when you're on a stage, a legitimate stage, when you do something, that's it. And if it doesn't work, you're going to have to try to find something else.
So was that a tough process for you, pushing through the nerves, not to just get through it, but put on a great performance?
Well, you know, if you do 8 a week, you got to kind of push yourself to do it. It's a hard job. I know in 1776 I was on the stage the whole show. I had 9 musical numbers, and I had to really be rested to get through it all, to do 8 a week. And I did it for how long, Bonnie? Over a year, right?
2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Over 2 years.
Yeah. That was 1776.
Well, talking about 1776, the producer of that show, Jack Warner, took those from the play to star in the movie version, which is seldom done. How hard did the studios fight that because they wanted the big-name stars?
Yeah, no, Jack Warner came to see the show, and he decided that he had made some mistakes previously. I forget the actresses that he used, and he should have used the one from Broadway. And I think he was thinking about that. So he decided to bring the whole cast of the New York production to, what was it, Warner Brothers or Paramount?
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. And that's what he did. He brought the whole cast there.
Including Peter Hunt, the director.
Including Peter Hunt, the director, yes, exactly. So that was a pretty gutsy thing for Warner, but of course he ran the whole studio, so he could call the shots however he wanted them.
Well, moving on, you said that you did a read-through of the first script of Boy Meets World and proceeded to quit the show before Michael Jacobs kind of told you he was in the middle of a rewrite, and to give him 24 hours, you came back, you liked the changes, you stayed on. Can you go through any of the specifics as to what was wrong with that first script and your character?
No, I was a little nervous about doing it because of my name. Mr. Feeney sounded like they were going to make fun of this character. So I went to the producer and said, listen, I like the scripts, but I don't want to make fun of teachers. I think they're terribly important. I think they're totally underpaid. And he said, no, Bill, and he told me the object of this was a mentor of his. He had that in mind when he wrote the part. So it was going to be a part that was treated with some respect.
And he rewrote it.
Yes, he did. Actually, he rewrote it from the first reading to when we did it. It was amazing that way. That was Michael Jacobs, the producer and writer of that first show, and several others of the shows.
Well,
so that's how we got through that.
Absolutely, and of course, William Russ is someone who, a very influential figure on the show, played Corey's dad, did such a good job. But Bill, he has stated before that he wouldn't have done the show if not for you. What was your relationship like with William Russ?
Very good relationship. He's an easy guy to get along with. He was very good in that part. And I see him occasionally since then, too, because he lives not too far away from us in the valley. And so, Rusty is a good friend of mine.
Well, Bill, going back, you were stationed at an armed forces radio service in Livorno, Italy. Was there any talk of Robin Williams doing another movie this time based on you called Good Morning, Livorno?
That one movie, yes. No, he was a lot better than I was.
Well,
yeah, I was working for the Armed Forces Radio Service, and he was probably working for Paramount at some place.
Well, Bill, of course, you were the voice of the car Kit in Knight Rider, but interestingly, you didn't meet David Hasselhoff until a Christmas party. Is that experience a little different? Not being able to meet the cast since you didn't meet him, was that a different experience for you?
Oh, of course. Yes, of course it was. I was doing St. Elsewhere at the time, and so they accommodated my schedule with St. Elsewhere, and I'd go in and knock off a show in about, 50 minutes maybe, having done several takes. What I would do, because he's on the road, and I'm supposed to be with him as the car, so I'm filming it. I'm recording it in a studio, so I'd give them 2 or 3 different readings so that one of them may be more appropriate than the others in answering him in a conversation as the car. And that's the way it went. And when I met David, I only met him at the Christmas party, and, he says, it seems to work. I said, yeah, I guess it does.
Well, Bill, you said you've played every important member of the Addams family except for Abigail. So is that a bucket list item for you?
Yeah, I don't look too good in a skirt. That's the problem. But yes, I have a corner on the Addams boys. I own them all.
Well, Bill, first of all, we want to share with you our deep thanks and appreciation for coming on with us today. It's been an absolute thrill and honor for us. We know some fans have come up to you. They don't know your real name. William Goldman wanted to write a book about actors who never, quote-unquote, made it. Bill, we know your name. We know you made it. You've wowed millions with your acting, been married to the same woman for over 60 years, and we're giving you a long, proper bow that we know your wife, Bonnie, would be proud of.
I enjoyed chatting with you.
Well, absolutely. The pleasure is all ours, Bill. We can't thank you enough. Can't thank Bonnie enough. And the best to both of you guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Thank you, too.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.